I'm Carrie Gatto with Keller Williams Realty, and today I am interviewing Sarah Burns, who is author of a children's book called A Look into Tomorrow. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Carrie. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great, great. Thanks for interviewing me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. So first, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Sarah. I'm living in the Somerville area in Spring Hill. I've been in the Boston area for about 4 years so far. I started working in the renewable energy industry at National Grid, and had been working there for about 3.5 years. And now I'm actually starting a new role at Accenture as an energy transition consultant. And when I'm not doing that, I am very interested in running, also cooking, mostly plant-based meals, and also just exploring the area and going to different restaurants.
Awesome. Where did you move from?
So I actually moved from New York City. I had been there for about 2 years. I worked for 1 year as an energy efficiency marketing specialist, which is kind of a mouthful. And then I decided to go to grad school there and then move up to Boston.
Very cool. Where are you originally from, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, of course. So I'm originally from Northern Virginia. I've lived there for the first 18 years of my life, and then just kind of kept moving northward.
Good for you. And what is your book about?
Yeah, so my book, A Look into Tomorrow, right here, um, is a book that's aimed for children ranging in ages from 6 to 12, so mostly elementary schoolers. It's about sustainability and really provides a positive outlook of what the world would look like if we decided to really get together and focus on climate change and solving that as a problem. So it goes into the details of different types of renewable energy, and then also what an ideal world might be able to look like if we decided to really focus on sustainability and combat that as a problem. So ultimately, it's a very motivating book. It's very positive and also gives children an ideal world that they can aspire to have.
I love that it's positive and instead of focusing on the problem, focusing on the solution. Because other sometimes those kinds of books can be discouraging and sort of depressing. So I love that you took that approach.
Oh
That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, definitely. I always felt like when I was learning about climate change as a kid, um, it was always very focused on why that problem is happening and what the world is going to look like if we continue to do the things that we're doing. And I think for me, it was motivating, but it was also very terrifying because I kept thinking about, okay, if I don't do this well enough, then the world's going to the world's going to be in a really horrible place. And I need to continue telling other people about it. But I realized that, fear isn't always the best way to motivate people. I think, envisioning an end goal, envisioning something that you really want is probably the best way to be able to create that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
And what gave you the idea for the book?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I actually wrote it about 10 years ago. I started trying to write it then. And it was because I was in high school and I was doing a Girl Scout Gold Award. And so for the Gold Award, one of the things that we had to do was come up with our own project that would help improve the community that we were living in some kind of way. And
Mm,
so the idea that I had was, I was very interested in the environment and I wanted to teach children who were in elementary school about conservation. And so I actually came in thinking that I was going to teach kids about conservation. And I ended up realizing that I was more interested in energy and, climate change. So I ended up sort of changing the focus of the project to be more on that. And part of what I wanted to do was actually read a book to the kids because I thought that that would be a great way to sort of have story time and then maybe have a chat about what we had learned afterwards. But at that time, there were no books that I could find in the libraries or in bookstores that had to do with clean energy for kids. So I just decided that I would write one before I had. I know. I think I thought it would be an easier mission than it actually was, and I just decided I'm going to write one and read it to the children when it comes time. So I did, and fortunately was able to have just a blank book that I could write on, and I created the book. Everything was set, and I was able to read it to the classes. And so, really interestingly enough, there was really positive feedback from the kids. So that really motivated me to continue moving forward and then start thinking about potentially getting the book published.
Great. And did you get it published or did you self-publish or?
Yeah, so for the first few years, I had applied to about 30 different publishing companies. I sent them the manuscript, and I was really hoping to get it published through a manufacturing company or a publisher. And I did not get any responses, so I decided that I would change the book and just modify it so that it was easier to read, so that it was something that children liked more. And I also started working with an illustrator. So instead of my own illustrations, it was my friend Joanne Raptis's illustrations, and she's really great. She's also done illustrations for a bunch of children's books before. So I knew that if I worked with her, it would be much more able to be published. And so then after we worked together, I applied to more publishing companies. And surprisingly, they said, we wanted to take your book, but because you already have an illustrator who's done all the illustrations, we can't accept your book because usually we go with our private illustrator or separate illustrator. So yeah, so I actually decided after that it would be better to publish with Barnes and Noble. And they're sort of like a mix because you are submitting your own PDF files and saying, okay, this is what I want to publish, but they also have to review it and see whether it's marketable. So that's ultimately what I decided to do.
Great. Okay, and that's where people can find it, Barnes and Noble?
Yeah, you can find it on Barnes and Noble and just search for A Look Into Tomorrow. There's also a Facebook page, so you can find out more about that. And there's a website that you can go on to called alookintotomorrow.com.
Great. We'll make sure the links are with this video, of course. Um, so just switching gears a little bit, what do you love most about Somerville, about the community there?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I've been living in Somerville for the past 4 years almost, and what I really like is just the abundance of opportunities there are to, meet other people, to also attend events. I was really surprised pleasantly after coming to Somerville and realizing that there were different community events. So, for example, I first started living in the Inman Square area, and I realized that's in Cambridge, but they would always have, a lot of music events that were in the community and just great places to eat. And then in Somerville, I'm noticing that they have a lot of events, especially during the summer, where you can see local craftspeople's work. And then you can also just meet new people and learn more about Somerville. So I love that. I
Yeah.
also will say that when I first published this book, it was in Somerville, and the Somerville Public Library was really, really supportive and, allowed me to host the opening event for the book in their room. And so just the support from the community has been really, just important to me, and I've really appreciated it.
That's so good to hear. Um, what else do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, so I love running. I actually recently joined the Somerville Roadrunners Club. So I'm planning on
Wow.
going to the first meeting tomorrow. So hopefully I get there and, I'm able to do the run with
Great.
everyone. So that's been a really big um, hobby of mine, and also looking forward to running a marathon this
Whoa.
year. That's a goal. hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping that by the end of 2022 I'll be able to do it.
You can do it. That's awesome. Good for you.
Thanks.
Are you planning to write any more books? That's such a big accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've actually thought about it, and I really like the book that I've already written. I feel like it has so much potential, and it's already been in the hands of many different children. I think that there are so many more children who could potentially have access to it. So, right now, I'm actually focusing on continuing to promote this book, read it in schools, just really try to have it in the hands of as many children as possible so that they can all learn about what the future might be able to look like with their help. And then also, I'm translating it into Japanese. So, hoping that it can get into a different language so that children who are from Japan can also read it and benefit from that. So, hopefully, more language translations to come.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is really exciting. Um, any other goals this year? I mean, the marathon is huge, and you're doing a lot already, but any other goals?
Yeah, I think, a big goal is to really continue to branch out and get to know my community a bit more because over the past few years, it's been a little bit difficult to meet new people. And I think, I felt a little bit disconnected. So I'm excited to get back into, joining different groups and just getting to know some of my neighbors because that's, such an important thing here in the community.
Fabulous. Well, if people are watching and they want to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, I think the best way to contact me, honestly, is through the either a Look Into Tomorrow Facebook page, or you can even just search for me on Facebook and I will be there. Um, I really like how they now have a feature on Facebook where you can actually connect with some of your neighbors. So I've noticed that that's something that people have been using. So I've started to get on that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Sarah. It was great learning about you, and congratulations on your book. It's amazing, and I can't wait to share it with my children. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Carrie, for talking with me and just being open to learning more.
Absolutely. Take care, and thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.